Thanks for joining us here at Footyology. Well, if you want finals classics, this is your segment. The semi-finals over the years have delivered enough heart stoppers to wear out several defibrillators, and we're going to have a look at the very best of them. Because like Drew Morfitt's Mod Squad semi-afro and wing-keeled collar, so are the rounds of our lives. Okay, Finey, we're going into overdrive with this segment because people just can't get enough of finals nostalgia. We've got some absolute rippers today. In fact, I'd go so far as to say this might be our best collection of highlights yet. We're starting number 5 on our list, all the way back to 1972. It's the first year of the Final Five and the second final ever played at Waverley, Finey, between Carlton and Richmond, the two great powers of that era. It's neck and neck all day, a low-scoring tussle. Who's going to get through to the grand final? Let's see what happens.
Can't control it so far. He's picked it up. He swings back from the centre wing. He looks for Kennedy. Kennedy leaning toward the ball. The ball trips in. The bounce was bad, but well played. Kennedy got it in now. A short pass comes unstuck to Walls. Walls straightens up. Here's Peter Jones in the goal square. Into the open goal. Jones, a goal. The scores are level once again at the 15-minute mark of the final term. What a finish. He's caught. Got one to coming half forward. A short pass into the forward pocket, and the mark has been taken by Marty McMillan. Where McMillan has already kicked 2 goals, coming in trying for 3. McMillan bobs up on the scene. It's on, it's good. It's a goal, I say. Yes, it's a goal. And Richmond in front. They've moved their score on now to be 4 points in front. And good football, Marty McMillan. From half-time, he has kicked 3 goals for the tie. Hole's there. Been taken by O'Connell. The left foot from O'Connell coming down towards Sproul. Can't take it. Jezelenko weaves his way through. He's still got it. A hand pass out. A chance for Carlton. Lucas, a short one. In the ward Walls. Won't get it. Play on. There's a charge. Oh, strong. It's a goal. They're level. The scores are level. 29 minutes and 20 seconds into the final quarter. Gallagher comes out. Hooks it back around toward Jezelenko. Jezelenko at half. The siren has sounded. It's a draw. Carlton and Richmond have drawn on 8 goals, 13, 61 points. So next week, the kick from Jezelenko after the siren won't score, and it's a draw. So next week, we'll see these two great sides compete again.
All right, so you can fill us in. What happened immediately after the siren?
I can't remember.
Enraged Richmond supporter came on and belted umpire Ian Coates.
Yeah, I wasn't aware
I thought
of
we
that.
talked about that previously. Sorry, it's probably just my stupid train spotting memory. But yeah, there was a real dust up after that. Not pleasant scenes at all. Of course, no extra time in those days. Richmond came out and promptly thumped the Blues by 41 points in the replay. Unbackable favourites to the grand final. Then what happened?
Then we had the highest scoring grand final ever. Richmond actually scored more than any other team had ever scored in a grand final.
They equalled the previous grand final record. The final scoreline, 28-9, 177. Jezelenko 7, Wall 6, Nichols 6.
Nichols got goals.
Defeated Richmond 22-18, 150.
And interestingly, the full forward for Carlton that day was dropped for the grand final.
Greg Kennedy.
Greg Kennedy.
Yeah.
Who earlier in the season had kicked, I reckon, a bag of 12, I think in that year, including a game against Hawthorn where he kicked a goal and then got flattened after he kicked it and he got given another goal in the goal square.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Marty McMillan, who you saw kick a goal there, I don't think he played in the grand final for the Tigers either. Anyway, good start. Well, we've got more neck-and-neck finals games for you. Now we go back to 2007. The venue is Subiaco. We do have extra time in finals by now. It's West Coast and Collingwood. Scores are locked. Let's see what happens.
Davis, still with Davis. Good player to have the footy. Kicks to Rocker. No free kick. Medhurst comes across. Brilliantly done by Medhurst. Can't quite get it away. Hearn dropped it. Ball comes to Prittis. Prittis gets it forward. Jones sits and waits. Well done, Didak. Burns scrambles it forward. Selwood brilliant. Pressure on. Medhurst can't quite get a kick away. Rocker. Still with Rocker. Prittis searching for it. Footy still 20 metres out. Somebody do something.
Subiaco Oval pulsating now. Hooked down behind the pack. I think it was Cox's hand. The boot of O'Brien. Pendlebury slaps it in the direction of Clark. O'Brien was dragged down. Eagles will leave some pressure. Staker scrambles a kick back to midfield.
One last chance.
5 seconds to go. Clement drives it back. It should be a mark behind a Lynch, and it is. We're going to overtime. Thomas found it on the deck. Lays it off. O'Brien gets a quick kick inside the 50. 2 Eagles collide. Bounces off the chest of Stengline. Rocker's got it. Slips it away to Medhurst. Across it comes to Bryan. Collingwood lead. Clark taken by Thomas. Selwood got him. Cloaks over the football. Just keeps it going. Well played to Clark. This could be the ball game. Nobody is up ahead. Pendlebury, the youngster, goes in and kicks the goal.
For them.
Braun finessing at half back. No time for that. Swan's got it. Pendlebury about 40 metres out. Back to Swan. Well, this will be the icing on a black and white cake. Collingwood a through.
Well, it was a great win by the Pies, who, of course, the very next week went on and nearly upset another hot favourite in Geelong in the preliminary final.
That was fantastic footage, wasn't it?
That last minute of normal time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the umpire play on. Bruce McAvaney exasperated. And you know it was a long time ago because there was still a little bit of real estate on Dane Swan's arms for tattooing work.
Yes. They were a bit stiff too, the Eagles, that final series, because they just lost to Port the week before, and then in that game, no Judd, no Cousins from memory. So, they were doing it inhibited by the loss of a couple of stars. Still nearly won, but yeah, the Pies came from nowhere that year, and it was probably the start of them getting them on the road to the 2010 Premiership. All right, let's move on to number 3 on the list. Now, a lot of people, Finey, reckon this is close to the best final ever played. Yep. It was it had everything. It was fast. It was end to end. 2 great rivals. Tough individual heroics. It's 1984. It's the second semi-final for a spot in the grand final between Hawthorn and Essendon.
They'll do the ruck work. Knocked over the back by Byrne. He's found Judge. Judge trying to get onto the right foot to shoot for goal, which he does. Any score will put Hawthorn in front, and I think he's put it through for a goal. That's 3 goals to Judge. Hawthorn lead by 6 points in the final term.
Over there to Danaher, fumbles, but he clears okay now. He goes for a short pass. This looks dangerous as we see Baker running to an open goal. Fires. It'll be good, a goal. So the difference now only 1 point. That's 3 goals to Baker. Played very well since quarter time. Point the difference. The kick is on its way. It's a high one. It's a pretty good one. Now it's touched on the line and scores a dead level. A goal.
Spoons it out to Weed. They need a goal badly. Hawthorn up to Matthews and Duckworth. Duckworth again going the punch. He's played a ripper game down there. McCarthy. Here's Matthews though. The rebound. He's got it onto Loveridge. Loveridge shoots. It's there. Hawthorn are back in front. What a game we've got at the MCG.
Robertson. Hawthorn swing back into attack. A chance for Reid to mark. He's got it. And he's only about 30 metres out. And if he kicks this one, it'll put them in front by 8 points. And it could be the end of the ball game for Essendon. We're at the 28-minute mark. And I reckon it'll go about 31 minutes this quarter.
Be lucky to go that long, I think, Lou. Won't go 31.
Oh, the game resting on the shoulders of Rodney Eade as he comes in for the kick.
There it is, the siren's gone, it won't matter.
And there's the goal, and Hawthorn have won. They go into the grand final for 1984. The final scores at the MCG. Peter Landy jumping out of his skin. 16-17, 113 to Essendon 15-15, 105.
Tremendous game, Finey. A few of us more pessimistic 19-year-old Essendon supporters thought Essendon might go out in straight sets after that, but managed to beat Collingwood by a lazy 130-odd points in the preliminary and turn the tables on the Hawks in the grand final.
I actually remember Peter Landy. It won't matter.
Yeah, wasn't averse to a bit of barracking, but funnily enough, in the grand final he got all negative because it's about a point the difference going into time on, and his famous comment was, "If it's a draw, I hope it's warmer next week, Lou." Great game. Robert Di Domenico played a ripper that day, kicked 4 goals from the wing, 4 goals for, had 24 disposals. Essendon managed to shut him down with Shane Hurd in the grand final. Tim Watson was terrific for the Bombers with 30 touches. Ken Judge, who you saw, the late Ken Judge, sadly, saw him kick a goal before he got shut down the grand final by Glenn Hawker. So It's one of those situations where Essendon got a good look at them and they've been getting closer and closer and then finally overcame them in the grand final.
Yeah, it was almost, we'd almost come to the point after that second semi-final of ownership. But 2 great weeks for the Bombers and it became a great rivalry,
Well, it's
one over the other.
exactly what Collingwood did to Essendon in 1990. All right, number 2. Now, if you haven't seen this game, I urge you strongly to dig up as much footage of it as you can because it's one of my very favourite finals, Finey. It's 1981. It's the first semi-final. It's Collingwood-Fitzroy. Collingwood have been beaten the week before by Geelong. Fitzroy have beaten Essendon in an elimination final. Collingwood has it all over the lines early. They're 38 points up at half-time, but a Fitzroy comeback ensues, and then an absolute blistering last quarter. 12 goals kicked by both teams, goal for goal. Let's go to the highlights.
Backing himself out. Good football by Davis as he puts the long kick towards centre half forward. Renee kick out position on that occasion. Snapped up by Dacos. He goes towards goal. It's a beautiful kick by Dacos and the margin now only 2 points. The left foot kick from Parrish in the front position. Rendell almost took the mark. It's called play on as Quinlan swoops on the ball. Goes towards goal. And there's another one from Quinlan, his second, and Fitzroy back in front again. He brings the ball in towards goal. A chance for the high flyers. No high flyers in this one as Poynton swoops on the ball. Gets a hand pass out towards Lewis. He steadies, gives it across now. A chance of a goal as Laurie puts it forward. It's right through the centre. Great play by Laurie. His second, and once again it's 8 points in front to Fitzroy. 10 points the difference now. 27.5 minutes have gone. Dacos kicks a goal. So it's back they come. Collingwood coming back after that goal kicked by Dacos. Went too far for Olsen. The Collingwood acting skipper in Ray Shaw puts the short pass forward. Craig Davis. No mark by Davis, but it's a push in the back. And Craig Davis, a beautiful kick of the football. But whether he can make the distance at this stage of the game, it's hard to say. But Davis now, with 3 goals on the board, hopeful of making it 4. Can he make the distance? It's a beautiful kick from Davis right up to the goal square. Players fly high. It's grabbed up over the shoulder. Collingwood have hit the front. A beautiful goal by Ross Brewer. A great goal, in fact. And it may be the match winner as Brewer kicks his 3rd goal. And from the centre, Picken goes for a short pass into the half-forward zone. It's been tapped away and picked up by Olsen. Given to Barham. Barham goes goalward. It's dropping short. And Collingwood have won this game. Collingwood have taken out the first semi-final by 1 point. 19 goals it is, 19-19 to 19-18. And Collingwood have won the first semi-final by 1 point over Fitzroy.
The Lions, they didn't have a lot of luck in finals. Of course, they lost the qualifying to Hawthorn by a kick a couple of years later. But that is just a magnificent quarter of footy.
I can do a Rohan Connolly here.
What?
I
You
was
were
there. Yeah, a few Fitzroy mates went to the game and just, they were such an oddity in the finals, Fitzroy, just to see little splashes of maroon, blue and yellow in a sea of black and white. Easy to love Fitzroy back in the day. And they just about had that game on toast. You know, when you were 10 points up there at the 27.5 minute mark, you felt that it was over. Ross Brewer, if he didn't kick that goal, you'd be hard-pressed to remember he went from Melbourne to Collingwood.
Well, I'm going to match I was there. I was at Waverley watching the Carlton-Geelong second semi-final being played at the same time with a transistor radio. Carlton had that game shot to ribbons. We had about 100 people gathered around our treadie listening to the last few minutes. All right, we've got to move on. There can only be one number 1, funnily enough. But this is a ripper. I'm sure everyone remembers it. We've seen a lot of it this week, given the game we're about to witness at the G on Friday night. It's Sydney and Geelong. It's 2005. It's a semi-final. The Cats are leading a low-scoring contest. Sydney, early in the last quarter, have still only kicked 3 goals for the entire game. David Johnson kicks a goal for Geelong, puts the Cats 22 points up, and then magic ensues. Let's see the man who delivered it.
They're not going to do it this way. You've got to do
Nick
something
Davis,
radical.
a chance from the pocket. Davis kicks a beauty. Here come the Swans.
Long from O'Keefe, long and strong. Nick Davis is the hope. He's the hope. Will he be the hero? He's kicked 19-8 from set shots this year. Bravo!
Unbelievable. Chance for Connelly. Davis has kicked 2. He snaps from 40. Don't tell me. He's kicked a goal. Unbelievable stuff from Nick Davis. Can you believe this?
Oh, how's that?
Ablett. This is unbelievable stuff. Will someone stand up? O'Keefe stood, but just as soon as he stood, he was constrained, he was handcuffed, he was shoved to the ground. Siren could go any second. Swans need a goal. Nick Davis! Nick Davis! I don't believe it! I see it, but I don't believe it! Class with a capital C! 4 goals from Nick Davis!
Unbelievable. Off balance, the ball spills loose, able to get his boots a ball. Super goal.
Unbelievable stuff. Nick Davis has kicked 4 final quarter goals. Is there time for the Cats? Is there one more roll of the dice for Geelong? They've led it all night, the Cats. What can they muster here? There must be just seconds left. That's it. It's all over. The Swans into a preliminary final. What a game. What a game of Australian rules football. The Sydney Swans, something from nothing. They were no chance in this game. And the hero is that man, Nick Davis. 4 final quarter goals. Unbelievable.
Well, not a lot more you can say there other than I'll just add, it's one of my favourite pieces of commentary too. Anthony Hudson, despite the fact he barracked for Geelong, that everyone remembers that. I see it, but I don't believe it. And Michael Christian getting unusually excited for him at the end there. Just great calling, boys.
Do you know what that line is? Not that he usurped it, but that line was a famous line. I think I'm laughing. I see it, but I don't believe it.
But they were laughing when they said that. I suspect deep down Hutto was crying. But great memories. Let's see, not tipping any one side, but let's see something similar on Friday night. I think we'd all be better for it.
You know, with all the programs they've had in place and the youth girls coming through, like I went and watched the Youth Girls Carnival a couple of months ago and I was blown away. Like they were, you know, the skill level and the way they moved the ball was phenomenal. So the skill is definitely there.